Look at the stats. 5 out of the top 6 televised rated games on the WNBA this year all involve Caitlin Clark. The only one that doesn't was a second half of a doubleheader in which Caitlin Clark played the first game.
Only on SportsGrid.
You're going a little deep bomb hunting here. We don't care that we have the one heavy favorite with Rory, a couple other guys like Fleetwood and Tagala, etc. You're going to go a little deeper down the board.
This course, I think, is going to play a little bit more to the wedges. They have, what they did is they've renovated it to basically block off some of the bombing alleys for these guys. They've narrowed the fairways.
Pharrell Coast to Coast. Only on SportsGrid.
Garrett Cole is getting ready to come back too. I guess this, look, they've played great without him, but you're not going to say to Garrett Cole, look, don't come back. I mean, it's a ridiculous conversation to have.
They're not going to take any unnecessary chances. And look, they're at the point where they have a lead. They certainly are going to make the playoffs, I would say, barring some sort of complete collapse. And that's all it takes.
Newswire. Only on SportsGrid.
8 playoff games at home for Boston in Beantown. They are 6-2 straight up.
The wild card, I would say, in this game is not necessarily, well, what are we going to get out of Luka Doncic, Kyrie Irving, Brown, and certainly Tatum. It is Kristaps Porzingis to me, because we're not getting back a player that's like, hey, rotational guy. Like, remember when Derek Lively went down with the injury? He was playing well, but a young player, like a piece.
The early line. Only on Sport.
It's InGame Live PrimeTime on a wonderful Wednesday evening. Game 3 NBA Finals. Ah, yes, a chance to make some money with the boys in Vegas, as we always like to do, especially when we have the NBA as the main dinner, if you will. Yours truly, Scott Wetzel and Mr. Sharapan to the next, 3.5 hours, believe it or not, expanded show, depending on how long the NBA Finals go. What's going on? They may go, who knows, triple overtime. We may be here till 1 o'clock in the morning. You never know. Hockey, you have to realistically worry about that stuff. NBA, I don't think so, but you never know. What's going on, my friend?
I feel like you're trying to put it on us. I feel like we've extended the show, and now you're literally wishing us an overtime game, which with the line, what it is, you would think it's going to be a close game. I mean, I hope we get a closer game than we got in Boston. The line is bounced a little bit. No Porzingis means, Dallas is the favorite. 2.5-point favorite. The total's up to 214.5. The people love the over, Wetzel, and the people like the Mavericks. So got out the green. I thought, this is from a while ago, and the old Celtics guy thought we had to, kind of represent the books a little bit, because the books actually need the Boston Celtics. I can't believe it. Less than 5 times all season, you need the Celtics as the book. So we'll can't wait to see how this plays out.
They haven't been underdogs too often this postseason, right? Is this the first time? I'm trying to think. They were favorites against Miami the whole way. They were favorites against Cleveland the whole way. So I think this is like, I was shocked. Like, wow, they're an underdog. Yeah. That's kind of weird.
I have to confirm, but I think it was 5 times all season. 5 times all season that they were dogged in the game.
That's all, huh?
Yeah, it's literally a handful. So, the news was, it just came out that not that long ago. The line was already at the point that the bets were placed with the intention of him not playing. So, if you're just watching us now, thank you for being here. If you're going to your app and going, well, geez, I should bet the Mavericks now, you already missed the good numbers. It was 1.5. It's 3. It's coming back to 2.5. Pre-game, the number's done moving up. I think 3 is the top. So we're going to go back to 2.5 in some places pregame. The beauty of this game is our show, InGame Live, PrimeTime, is we talk about the game as the line moves during the game. There's a lot of trends that you look at. You help put these together before the show. The Mavericks, 26-10 against the spread run, including 19-8 versus winning teams, which the Celtics are. Celtics 8-7-1 against the spread last 16 games played. Why is that, Scott? I'll ask you. Why are the Celtics only 8-7-1 ATS? Why would that be?
Number's too high. They posted a number too big, right? Because they've been road favorites. Yeah.
Yeah, they've been favored. They have to not only win, because they're 12-2 in the postseason so far.
Yeah,
all the wins, 12-2 straight
14-2.
up. 4-4-4, right?
Right.
They have 12
and
wins.
2.
And 2 more, 14-2. Yes,
series.
Yeah, right. Sorry. So 14-2, and yet barely above 500 against the spread. First time as a dog. Worried.
Yeah. There was an interesting line movement. I'm not sure exactly what had happened. I don't know if it pertains to Porzingis being officially listed out or not, Dave. But, you know me, I like these secondary market goofy bets, right? So one that I hit fairly well in Game 2 was Luka Doncic to be the leading scorer. He was only minus 150. And I was like, boy, that's pretty easy, right? And he hit that easy winner. So I said, all right, well, I'm going to go right back to that market. I looked at it today. He was minus 165. I'm like, all right, you know what? Who else is going to be the leading scorer? So I bet it. You realize now, on FanDuel anyway, that line has dropped to minus 140. Now, without Porzingis, like I said, I don't know if it pertains to Porzingis or not, but I don't know for Dallas who's going to be the leading scorer except for Luka.
Okay.
Is expecting Kyrie to go off? Now, it is for both teams. So, but I'm starting with Luka, with Dallas first. I mean, he figures to be. So are they expecting Jason Tatum to all of a sudden awake and go off? I mean, why would that drop 25 points?
It's one less player in the market. So it's also one less player on the Celtics. So if you have to replace those points, somebody else is going to get bet. So you have to bring the Luka number down and move the other ones as probably people went and bet it. I mean, there's Luka's numbers right there. All right. I mean, 29 points a game, 9.7 rebound. I mean, this is Luka's night to shine. First home game, NBA Finals, all that other stuff. But it might also be someone else's on the Celtics. I agree with you.
Probably.
I don't think it's right. I don't think it's anybody else on the Mavs. It would be very, based on the first two games and what Boston's been able to do defensively, it would be very surprising if the leading scorer for the Mavericks was not Luka. It wouldn't be that surprising if Luka wasn't the leading scorer in the game, because someone else on the Celtics, it's their night. Tatum, Brown. I don't know. I kind of, it's not going to be Drew Holiday, but I like Drew Holiday a lot. He's going to be with the ball in scoring spots a lot tonight.
All right, a lot of props and a lot of different bets we'll get into over the next half hour before they actually tip off. But why don't we spend a moment on some real sad news? When I woke up this morning, got onto the computer, and I saw that Jerry West passed away at the age of 86. Boy, that's just, I didn't realize he was sick. And, maybe it was known out there, but I didn't realize it. And, when you're 86, you don't necessarily have to be sick, right? Unfortunately. So I always felt bad for the guy. I grew up, my dad was a big Celtic. We were kind of weird. We both, me and my father, both liked the Celtics and the Lakers, which you wouldn't think you could possibly do because they were just natural rivalries. But love the old Celtic teams, love the old Laker teams, but Kareem and those guys. And I didn't go back to Jerry West's playing days, but the poor guy, at least he won one time, but 9 NBA finals. He only got one championship. Even in college, he got to the finals and lost that one as well. The poor guy was really, he was known as a winner, but he didn't really win that often. You just felt bad. And I don't know if you watched Winning Times at all, on the HBO show that they had, which was pretty good. Yeah. They portrayed him as kind of, a little weird. He wasn't too happy about that, and rightfully so. But, I always felt bad because the Lakers just always found ways to lose, whether it was the Knicks or the Celtics beating them in the finals.
Right. Yep. It's strange because we're close in age, you and I, but for a lot of younger people, 30s, maybe even early up to 40, they barely know that Jerry West played. Like, I've only seen clips of him. I don't remember him playing, but you're talking about his playing career. The guy had an unbelievable career as an executive. And then the other thing that kids don't know is the logo for the NBA. He is the logo. Like, that's a thing. The model of that NBA logo is Jerry West. So a guy like that who has been around for so long and done so many things, yes, condolences to a lot of people in the basketball world. I got friends in West Virginia that have been there for years. He said it's a sad day here in West Virginia because that's where Jerry West was from. They claimed him as one of their own. So it's ironic that, it happens on a day where we're talking basketball the whole day. So I think that was a proper thing to do, acknowledge that.
Yeah. I would like to think the NBA, much like they did with Bill Walton last week, they have to do something, some video tribute, moment of silence, something tonight, right? I mean, that would only be fitting. So, all right, just getting underway. Yours truly, Scott Wetzel, Dave Sharapan for the next 3 hours plus right here on the Grid.
Your gut says Miami is going to win, and you should take the over. Your gut also said your NFT selfies would only go up in value. They didn't. But your head is on SportsGrid and knows the QB is in concussion protocol. The backup has a 45 QBR against the zone coverage. The New York D has the most sacks in the league. So yeah, trust your head. It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.
There is going to be an energy to game time decisions that you will feel night in and night out. We're going to go through every single thing, and I've got a great team behind me that's going to help me get the job done. I want this to be the place that people come to. We are going to hit every single one of those markets that you need to know about. There is not going to be a better place, I promise you, than Game Time Decisions. We will have everything at our disposal, and we will use that to our advantage. I'm Kevin Walsh. Tune into Game Time Decisions from 6 to 8 p.m. Eastern on SportsGrid.
.81 goals against average, .920 save percentage. He's also 6-2 in his last 8 road starts as well. The Oilers are a great road team. I actually think it's an advantage for them that they don't have home ice. That potentially 4 of the games are on the road. We've seen 56% of the games this year in the NHL playoffs, the road team has actually won.
Sports Rage Late Night, only on SportsGrid.
All right, welcome back InGame Live, prime time here on the Grid. Scott Wetzel, Dave Sharapan for the next 3 hours plus as we're going to take you right up until the NBA Finals, through the NBA Finals, and then even in the post game of the NBA Finals. So figure around 11:30 or so, depending on how long the game actually takes. So plenty of things to get to, Dave, including some same game parlays. We got Black Clouds to get to. The whole routine. We'll keep an eye on the baseball as well. Won't spend too much time on it, but obviously we will not ignore it. It's not going to be just NBA, especially if we get a blowout game. Like we've had in games 1 and 2. In fact, like we really had in the complete 4-game series when you include the 2 regular season games Celtics and Mavs played. It's been all Boston, yep. So maybe we get things a little differently here, Dave. Before we get to the same game parlay, give me your thoughts. Celtics +3 now for the most part. If you want that, you might be able to find 2.5 if you like Dallas. But where are you pitching your fork to start with tonight?
Oh, it's completely dependent upon in-game stuff. Without Porzingis, I don't know what to expect, so I kind of sit back. But if I was to plant a flag pregame, it would be on the Celtics. There's 4 games of evidence that I have. The Celtics are pretty good, even without Porzingis. I need to see Dallas doing some adjustments, not just like Luka's health. Kyrie got to get more open looks, and the bench has to play better. So that's where I'm at with the initial thoughts. Like you said, we'll learn a lot in the first 6 minutes, the first 8 minutes of the first quarter.
All right. I'm not sure where I'm kind of in the same boat. In that, I kind of like this and I kind of like that. I kind of like Dallas, but I just hate being on the side of the public, right? Flip black and back and forth. I just, I just hate being on the side of the public, and the public is all over Dallas tonight. And the Porzingis injury doesn't help matters. So even, anyone that was waffling is probably now leaning towards Dallas as well. So, I will say this. I was talking with Ranieri in Game Time Decisions. Yep. Dallas has to get off to a good start. I mean, down 0-2. I'm not a big first quarter better, but you would think down 0-2 at home they're going to come out flying tonight, right?
You would think so, but a lot of times what happens, and we've seen this happen in the NHL playoffs too, the home team comes out with so much emotion, maybe overplays the situation, and it results in a team coming down and scoring a goal early against them. I think they have to play with that energy, come out, emotion, all that other stuff, but it has to be directed and has to be controlled. And I don't know if them having a lead is going to help them win the game, but them being down 17 in the first quarter of the first game lost them the game. At worst, they got to play them even. Ideally, a 4-point lead or more would be best. But we'll keep an eye on that. We'll know. And it's not like if Dallas gets down 10, the game's over. We've seen them be down and make runs to come back. I just think they have to do a better job tonight of limiting Boston's runs. If they limit Boston's runs, at least they got a shot at winning the game, let alone covering a bigger number.
All right, let's go over some of the, you see the numbers there, first half spread. Dallas, a slight little favorite there, -128. The Celtic over-under first half has been a big hit, not only this postseason, but all regular season.
Yep.
It's 54.5, which is down from the 56.5 it was for games 1 and 2, 56, even 57.5 it popped up to. 54.5, boy. I think this is going to be a higher scoring game. One of my many systems, Dave, is if the same thing, I got a lot, right? If the same thing happened in the first 2 games, then you go opposite in game 3.
Oh.
Celtics win both games go under. The team that they're thinking is the team that's down 0-2 has got to change things up. Whatever they were doing in the first 2 games obviously didn't work. So if they were slowing it down, they got to speed it up. If they were speeding it up and got outscored, then they got to slow it down. So because of that, I like the over tonight.
Okay. All right. I'm trying to keep up with it. We got a long time and a lot of things to come up. Unearth some more Wetzel, betting principles and rules and patterns and behaviors. I like the under. I think we get it. I think Dallas slows it down the best they can, which leads to maybe them dictating the pace of play, which leads me to believe under. So we'll see.
All right. Let me throw some prop plays at you before we get to the Black Cloud and maybe the same game parlay next segment. We'll have some fun with some of this stuff, right? We're going to be on all night, which is good because now you can actually follow these things and talk about them throughout the evening.
Yeah.
So I'll start with some hedging ones.
Okay.
I'm going to go with both Dallas and Boston. I know this is weird, but I'm going to take the Celtics to trail by 10 points or more and win the game at plus 550. And I'm going to take Dallas to trail by 10 points or more and win the game. That pays $450. So why would I do that? Because if a team does go down by 10, and one of these two teams is going to go down by 10, it's rare when a game doesn't have a 10-point deficit. You're going to have a great hedging opportunity when that team then rallies and ties the game.
Oh, yeah.
So what do you think about that strategy?
Well, if you get both teams to have a 10-point lead, we can put this on easy street, right? Because it won't matter who wins. You'll either win plus 450 or plus 550. So I see what you're doing. This wouldn't have worked in either game 1 or 2, though, right? There wasn't a time. Right. Boston never trailed by
Celtics
10.
were down 7. They were down 7 in game 2.
That was the largest lead. Yeah. So we got close. So we'll keep an eye on that. Remind us between JJ and Matty G. If a team gets down 10, we'll take note of it. Hopefully this could happen by the end of the halftime. Teams go on run.
I'm thinking first quarter. I'm thinking, here's my main kind of goal is, Dallas comes out flying, maybe 15-5 early lead, right? Places going nuts and everything else. Now I got a Celtic plus 550 ticket. Then Boston makes its run, maybe by the end of the first quarter or at least by halftime, cuts it to back to even, and now the game is basically back to pick 'em. And now I bet Dallas. That's kind of the goal in this thing. We'll talk more about it when we come back. In-game live, prime time.
Your gut says Miami is going to win, and you should take the over. Your gut also said your NFT selfies would only go up in value. They didn't. But your head is on SportsGrid and knows the QB is in concussion protocol. The backup has a 45 QBR against the zone coverage. The New York team has the most sacks in the league. So yeah, trust your head. It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.
There is going to be an energy to game time decisions that you will feel night in and night out. We're going to go through every single thing, and I've got a great team behind me that's going to help me get the job done. I want this to be the place that people come to. We are going to hit every single one of those markets that you need to know about. There is not going to be a better place, I promise you, than Game Time Decisions. We will have everything at our disposal, and we will use that to our advantage. I'm Kevin Walsh. Tune into Game Time Decisions from 6 to 8 p.m. Eastern on SportsGrid.
.81 goals against average, .920 save percentage. He's also 6-2 in his last 8 road starts as well. The Oilers are a great road team. I actually think it's an advantage for them that they don't have home ice. That potentially 4 of the games are on the road. We've seen 56% of the games this year in the NHL playoffs, the road team has actually won.
Sports Rage Late Night, only on SportsGrid.
Welcome back in Game Live, Prime Time here on the Grid. Scott Wetzel, Day Sharapan. About 15, 20 minutes, probably 20 minutes, I would think, anyway, before tip-off Game 3, NBA Finals, Celtics leading it 2-0. With that, Dave, why don't we do a little SGP, same game parlay time? All right, we're going for the gusto here. We got 6 legs to our parlay. It's going to pay over 10-1 on FanDuel. We're going to start with the over. I don't care if Porzingis isn't playing. In fact, I think that's a benefit to go over. He plays just as good defense as he does offense, and you don't have to worry about that. Someone will always pick up the slack offensively, so let's go over 214 like the trends we had talked about. We're going to use Luka big time. He's due for a monster game. Luka, 4 3-pointers or more. He averages 4.5. 8 rebounds or more, minus 270. Luka, 6 assists. He get that in his sleep. He just threw that in there to bump it up. Drew Holiday, over 10.5 rebounds and assists. I'll give you some monster numbers on him. He is going to get, that might be the best prop of the night, to tell you the truth. And then Al Horford, over 18.5 points, rebounds, assists. That might be the second best prop of the night. Add it all up, nice 10-27, but over 10-1, depending on where and when you do your shopping. What do you think?
A lot of Luka, Wetzel. It's probably not a bad thing. Drew, good. We're maybe worried about those assist number there because I think he's going to score tonight. So we need to combine. And then Horford, you just threw it in there. I disagreed with the total, but I could be wrong too. That's the beauty of the betting. You don't have to be right all the time. Nobody is right all the time, no matter what their Twitter bio says or what they say on different shows. So let's go. I mean, that's a 6-piece. Why not go 6-piece for the finals? Let it fly. But are we going to do the Black Cloud right now as well?
Double dipping, and we held out the very, very best prop for the Black Cloud, which is coming up now. All right, we talked about it. I don't know how this is not hitting. The only scenario I have is that it's a Dallas blowout and Luka only plays 3 quarters, or, more than likely he just decides he's going to facilitate because Dallas is up 20 and he's not going to be the big-time scorer. But FanDuel, anyway, offers a prop. Who's going to be the leading scorer in the game? Luka, minus 140. That is just crazy. That was minus 165. It's down to 140. I will tell you, Luka has been the leading scorer in 13 of the 19 games, which might not sound like that much in the postseason, but 9 straight, though. He has been Dallas's leading scorer for 9 straight playoff games. So he's going to be the leading scorer for Dallas. You really only got to worry about one guy, and that's Jason Tatum going off. And I don't think he's going to go up to the point where he's going to get 35 points, which is what it's probably going to take to outduel Luka. I think this is the best bet on the board. I really do. Forget about who's winning, Dave, and over, under, and this and that, sideways, left, right, up, down. Give me Luka leading scorer minus 140. Love this play.
More Luka. Lots of Luka tonight. And same game parlay and now Black Cloud of the night. So it's Tatum and who else? Who else do we need to worry about? Could it be Kyrie with a big night? You're not really concerned about that?
I am and I'm not, right? This is a moment of truth game for 2 guys. For Kyrie Irving, for sure. He has been invisible. And all this talk about how great he is. I've had it up to here with Kyrie being the greatest thing since sliced bread, right? So he's got to step up because he's down. And even Jason Tatum, who's going to want a big fat contract, you think he's happy about Jaylen Brown being the highest paid NBA player? No, but, is he going to walk into the front office of the Celtics and say, give me $65 million a year when he's going to average 15 points? So he's got to step up tonight and go for 25 plus. He just has to. But I still don't think that's going to overtake Luka.
Okay. Well, you better hope not. I think it's going to be a Celtic if it's anybody, okay? I think it's going to be a Celtic that gets you. Whether it's Tatum, Brown, I don't think it's one or the other. It's not both. And it could be a Kyrie night. And if you get beat on a Kyrie night on that bet, so be it. That's fine.
Yeah.
You
So
can't control that. Yeah.
I'll throw 3 more out real quick. Over 13.5 points, PJ Washington. Over 10.5 assists, rebounds, Drew Holiday. And over 18.5 points, rebounds, assists, Al Horford. All hit those numbers regularly.
Jeff Dawson coming.
Your gut says Miami is going to win, and you should take the over. Your gut also said your NFT selfies would only go up in value. They didn't. But your head is on SportsGrid and knows the QB is in concussion protocol. The backup has a 45 QBR against the zone coverage. The New York D has the most sacks in the league. So yeah, trust your head. It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.
There is going to be an energy to game time decisions that you will feel night in and night out. We're going to go through every single thing, and I've got a great team behind me that's going to help me get the job done. I want this to be the place that people come to. We are going to hit every single one of those markets that you need to know about. There is not going to be a better place, I promise you, than Game Time Decisions. We will have everything at our disposal, and we will use that to our advantage. I'm Kevin Walsh. Tune into Game Time Decisions from 6 to 8 p.m. Eastern on SportsGrid.
.81 goals against average, .920 save percentage. He's also 6-2 in his last 8 road starts as well. The Oilers are a great road team. I actually think it's an advantage for them that they don't have home ice. That potentially 4 of the games are on the road. We've seen 56% of the games this year in the NHL playoffs, the road team has actually won.
Sports Rage Late Night, only on SportsGrid.
Welcome back in-game live, prime time here on the grid. Hour number 1 of our 3.5, 4-hour extravaganza. Scott Wetzel, Dave Sharapan until right around 11:30 or so Eastern time, taking you right through Game 3 NBA Finals. Little post-game show as well before Cam and Gabe take over for the next 2 after that. So getting set, tip-off in about 10 minutes or so. So let's get some more thoughts on who's going to win this game, maybe some prop plays as well as we welcome in our first guest of the evening, Jeff Dawson, CEO, founder, East Coast Sports Investors and ECSI Media Group. Jeff, what's going on, my friend? How are you tonight?
It's always a pleasure to be between Scott and Dave. Glad to be here.
Hey, great to see you. Thank goodness you were going to join us on Monday, or no, last Thursday, Game 1. And instead, we got the call, Jeff's not going to be able to make it because, oh, yeah, he's going to the game. So you were in the game at Boston. Full pass, that's fine. I thought maybe you're going to be on a jet to Dallas and be down there and going to this game. Instead, you stayed here and joined us. Thank you for that. First order of business. Do you remember the last time the Celtics won the championship?
The last time, that was Paul Pierce, Ray Allen? Yes.
Right. Pretty good team, right?
Very good team, yes.
Kevin Garnett.
Yeah, this team, do you have that same feeling? You've been around, I mean, you can tell the stories about the Bird teams and about, McHale and Parrish, and you were going to those games at the old Boston Garden and all that other stuff. Where do you put this team right now? If they get this done, it's a different discussion. But going into this game, the Boston Celtics are where compared to the past teams like that?
Dave, you usually yell and scream and holler at me because I don't have that same passion. I go back to the Bird, Ainge, Parrish, McHale, Bill Walton days. I was there also for the Paul Pierce days. Now this is a whole different ballgame. This is a whole different era. And not that I would put an asterisk at 14-2 right now in the playoffs, but the path that they have taken where every star has been injured, whether it was Jimmy Butler, whether it was Mitchell from Cleveland, Halliburton from Indiana. Now this is I'm hoping a series. I'm hoping Dallas takes advantage of no Porzingis today, and then also on Friday, get it to 2-2, and let's make a series. Some people will say this is a better team than Paul Pierce's. I don't really think it is. I'll take Paul Pierce, Ray Allen, and Kevin Garnett any day versus the big three right now.
Yeah. So as a Celtic fan, so would I, Jeff. I don't think it's any comparison. But I will say, compare what Jason Tatum is going through now. And I think he's going to be up for a big game tonight. I mentioned in the segment before, I know you were listening to that, he kind of has to. I know Paul Pierce was under similar pressure to finally win. He did. What's it like for Jason Tatum, and do you expect a big night out of him tonight?
Everyone's been waiting for this big night. Jaylen Brown wins the Eastern Conference Final MVP, and he's been the voice. He's been the leader, and I love it. I loved it when they drafted him. I thought he was always the alpha, but everyone says Tatum's the better player. Okay, that's fine. But I will take Jaylen Brown any day of the week here, and he's showing it. Tatum now playing the second fiddle, just win. We're here to win a title. He's going to get paid next year. He will be the highest paid player in the NBA. I'm wondering after next year, I think Jaylen has an out. I think Jaylen wants to be an alpha at some point, and maybe even with the championship and next year, maybe he goes on. There was talk last year wanting to go to Houston with Ime. I don't know. I mean, this will always be Jason's team. He is a star. But I love what I'm seeing from Jaylen Brown. So the expectations of Jason Tatum having a big night, maybe tonight is a night without Porzingis.
The boys said you had some props and you had some things to look at, and you tend to, when you do this stuff, not do the stars. And I wanted to give you a little bit of a layup. I'll throw it up like this and let you slam dunk it home with your best bets. And I can't wait to hear this first one because I just saw it now in the preview. Put this thing up. What are you doing here?
No Porzingis, right? So Derek White's going to start. Al's going to have some more minutes, but in comes Sam Hauser. Again, we like him over 7.5 points, rebounds, and assists. We have him graded at about 10.5 today. So the no name comes in and gets over the 7.5. Derek White, again, will step into the starting role. Points, rebounds, assists over 23.5. We have him at 25.5. And the next one is a Dave Sharapan special. This is a breed prop. Okay. When I'm having a bad day, I send Dave a text, and the first thing he tells me is breathe, Jeff, breathe. And that's what we got to do. So Kyrie's away from the booze. He doesn't have to sage the Dallas stadiums. He has had a great year with Luka. I think he's going to breathe. I think he flies over the 2.5 3-pointers made there. And then you can get that at plus money, I think, or even plus 105. And then I get Dallas minus 140. I think they find a way to win this game. That's a full game. But the Vegas cue that Dave would tell me here is they're minus 3 full game. They're also minus 3 first half. So again, they're telling you they're expecting big things in the first 24 minutes in Dallas. But I did play the money line full game. Dallas gets it done, and a 2-1 series going into Friday.
Celtics ultimately win, or do you think without Porzingis? And do you expect Porzingis to play again this series, Jeff?
I don't at all. They've had an amazing record without him. He hadn't played in the whole playoffs until the finals, kind of rushed back. I'm not going to take out. I know the title's big. They have enough ammunition to win this series without him. They've done fine. I'm not going to put his career in jeopardy. So I don't think he plays, whether even they come back to Boston on Monday and it's 2-2. I think they're going to have to get it done without him.
Last one for me, sir, and it's always great to see you. But I thought of you, and I wasn't able to reach out when Danny Hurley came back to UConn as a big UConn backer and as a season ticket holder and a Boston guy and all this New England stuff. One, did you get your tickets back? Did you keep them? And two, are they three-peating? Like, are you starting to make the plans already? Oh, it's up 1, 2, 3. That's it. Oh, see.
I got the news and I was in shock. Listen, the bottom line is LA came up short. The number was simple. It was 7 for 105. That's at 15 per. Self for Kansas, the highest paid coach in college is 12. So what the Lakers did is two things. They slowed down the JJ Express. He's never coached. It's going to cost more for his staff, never mind him. So they gave him Hurley a layup to bring back to UConn and say, here's what your next contract's going to be. We're going to make you the highest paid college basketball coach, and the rest is history. Listen, Alabama and Kansas are loaded. We got a couple recruits, one from St. Mary's, one from Michigan. We got the Caravan back. We got Slam Johnson, Daria back. It's going to be a test, but listen, we'll be in the Final Four, hopefully, and then we'll be talking a lot UConn in November.
If the Knicks come a-calling, Jeff, are we looking at a different scenario being a Jersey guy that he is?
Well, that was the thing. He has now put the NBA saying East Coast, whether it's Philly, whether it's the Knicks, whether it's the Celtics, or whether it's Brooklyn. Hey, guys, I'm going after John Wooden this year. Come talking after. And, one of the East Coast NBA teams is where he will end up, whether it's the year after, 3 years, whatever it is.
Oh, my.
Jeff, great job. I appreciate it, man. Jeff Dawson from East Coast Sports Investors, ECSI Media Group. Hopefully we get a chance to do it again soon.
I can't wait.
All right, there you go. All right, quick
Go
little
Huskies.
break, and we'll have a tip-off and final some plays as we get ready for Game 3 NBA Finals.
Your gut says Miami is going to win, and you should take the over. Your gut also said your NFT selfies would only go up in value. They didn't. But your head is on SportsGrid and knows the QB is in concussion protocol. The backup has a 45 QBR against the zone coverage. The New York D has the most sacks in the league. So yeah, trust your head. It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.
There is going to be an energy to game time decisions that you will feel night in and night out. We're going to go through every single thing, and I've got a great team behind me that's going to help me get the job done. I want this to be the place that people come to. We are going to hit every single one of those markets that you need to know about. There is not going to be a better place, I promise you, than Game Time Decisions. We will have everything at our disposal, and we will use that to our advantage. I'm Kevin Walsh. Tune into Game Time Decisions from 6 to 8 p.m. Eastern on SportsGrid.
.81 goals against average, .920 save percentage. He's also 6-2 in his last 8 road starts as well. The Oilers are a great road team. I actually think it's an advantage for them that they don't have home ice. That potentially 4 of the games are on the road. We've seen 56% of the games this year in the NHL playoffs, the road team has actually won.
Sports Rage Late Night, only on SportsGrid.
back. It is In-Game Live, prime time here on the grid. Again, thanks to Jeff Dawson for joining us there, giving us a couple of winning props. Hopefully, keep your fingers crossed as we get set for tip. Still not underway, but they say 8:30, and TV time, Dave, that's generally about 8:45. So that's to be expected, but that's okay. Give us a few more minutes to get a few more plays in and everything else. So I did find
Listen,
out, we were talking in the break.
You might be stuck in time. The game's already underway. I got 9.
Oh, then they put the wrong channel on, my TV set. All right.
Yeah.
Matt, come back. You got the wrong channel on, brother. It's so hard to find these games. It could be on ESPN, it could be on ABC, it could be on TNT. I mean, it could be anywhere. True TV,
There's
okay, my bad.
Feeds, there's watch-alongs. People are watching us. They have the game on the screen. I can tell you this. It's 9-5 Dallas so far.
Oh, you're right.
The in-game numbers 4.5, 216.5. So we're already headed towards a little bit of a quick overpace. That's fine. It's early. Relax. It's
Okay.
good. Yeah, I
got you.
All right.
We're down 6. This is kind of weird. I'm rooting for the Celtics, but I want to be able to get the Celtics down 10. So we can have that Celtics down 10. Win the game.
I mean, just
parlay
a few minutes ago,
play.
You called it 15-5. You said, "Hey,
that's
the
what I'm
Celtics
thinking.
are down 15-5." It's 11-5 right now, Wetzel. This will be one of your best all-time calls. If we can get this thing to 15-5, we'll blast the goal horn. We'll do something. That will be one of your best calls in a while because that prop right there will hit. As far as the Boston side, which looking at the odds is the bigger dog. Are you okay with them getting down 15? Would you be all right with that? Because that might bring into that next equation did that say 16-1? You could get the Celtics at 6. Well, hello.
I didn't bet that one, though. I didn't bet that one. But for the first time in my life, I didn't get greedy and watch it's going to, come into play tonight. For the first time.
I saw this list. I said he bet the Celtics side the whole way. They've been down 15 in the playoffs to the Pacers, and they came back and won.
Yeah, you're right. Fourth quarter or third quarter, whatever it was.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know why? Because I told myself I was going to do it twice. And I said, am I going to go both Boston or I'm going to go conservative and go 1 Boston, 1 Dallas? So I went 1 Boston, 1 Dallas.
Okay.
With the 16, yeah.
It's 13-5 right now, by the way. It's 13-5.
Wow. Yeah. Can we get a couple technical fouls? Where's Draymond Green when we need him here? We throw a couple of punches or something. We need somebody. Sam Hauser. We don't need you. Come on, run on the court and spit in the face of the official or something.
Wow.
Oh, this would be great. If this goes 15-5, then that's our night. Every prop is going to hit. I'm telling you right now. If this gets to 15-5. Cash your tickets. Don't even watch the rest of the game. That's it. We're in. Roll it over to all the other bets we're going to make tonight.
Stay with us. Oh, the next basket is made by the Celtics. So it's 13-7. That's okay. We can still get the 10-point lead in the first quarter. You called that. The exact score, again, close, very, very close. That was a nice sweat right there. 13-7. Celtics with the ball, with the basket. So, what else are you looking at here? What else did you want to jump in and discuss?
By the way, Dallas even had the ball. See, I'm like a minute behind.
Yeah, they did. I didn't want to say it.
They had the ball up 8. Oh,
yes. Yeah, missed the shot. Yep.
Let me see. Was it Kyrie? He's got the ball. Oh, it was Kyrie Irving. Oh, he's such a dog. He is so. I am so sick of people saying, Dave, how great Kyrie is. Oh, he's the greatest one-on-one player in the NBA. He's the second or third best player. No, he's not. He's a nice player. That's it. That's all he is. He's a good player. That's it. He's not great. He's not Luka. He's not even Jason Tatum. Dare I say it? He's not on the Greek Freak, who's really not Greek's level or none of that stuff. He's a decent little player.
He's a good number 2 with Luka.
Yeah.
And if you continue to besmirch him right now. I feel like he's going to be the one that's going to be the high scorer tonight. The more you continue to bash him and say that stuff, I feel like he's going to put up 42, and you're going to go, how did this guy do this? So, yeah, let's not worry about what Kyrie's not doing and talk bad about him. Let's talk about Luka and how good he's doing. Right now, he is the leading scorer in the game, Wetzel. Luka is the leading scorer in the game.
That's the easiest bet. That's going to be
the
easiest bet.
19-9. There's the 10-point lead. Bam.
17-7?
17-7 and now 19-9. Yep, you're good.
Wow.
All right.
We're in.
Here we go.
All right, now we just need the Celtics to win. But now you really don't. Now you just need the Celtics to make a run, get it, close, and now you can hedge. Because now you got Boston, in essence, plus 550 right now. And now you can bet Dallas, minus the 2-1 if you want, or depending on how long you want to wait. That's great. That is great. So,
Dallas,
by the way,
is minus 330 right now. Minus
I don't want to do
330. That's a little high.
That's a little high.
Yeah.
If this gets to 15, I'm not going to be happy. All these smiles on my face are going to be like, the one freaking time I use like good judgment and supposedly and not go crazy is 16-1 that was? Oh man.
Oh boy. You don't want to look at the score. You don't. It's not there yet, but it's I just hit refresh. It's 22-9. That would be 13. Just so you know. Yeah.
By the way, I saw today where Luka was questionable again. Now he's got a chest injury. This guy's like the walking wounded. Whether it's his throat, chest, leg, knee. I mean, anything healthy on this guy?
No.
Yeah, right.
Right? He's got injuries all over.
Anything?
Undisclosed upper body injury.
There you go. The upper body injury, yeah. It's his whole body. In-game live prime time returns here in a sec on the grid.
Your gut says Miami is going to win, and you should take the over. Your gut also said your NFT selfies would only go up in value. They didn't. But your head is on SportsGrid and knows the QB is in concussion protocol. The backup has a 45 QBR against the zone coverage. The New York D has the most sacks in the league. So yeah, trust your head. It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.
There is going to be an energy to game time decisions that you will feel night in and night out. We're going to go through every single thing, and I've got a great team behind me that's going to help me get the job done. I want this to be the place that people come to. We are going to hit every single one of those markets that you need to know about. There is not going to be a better place, I promise you, than Game Time Decisions. We will have everything at our disposal, and we will use that to our advantage. I'm Kevin Walsh. Tune into Game Time Decisions from 6 to 8 p.m. Eastern on SportsGrid.
.81 goals against average, .920 save percentage. He's also 6-2 in his last 8 road starts as well. The Oilers are a great road team. I actually think it's an advantage for them that they don't have home ice. That potentially 4 of the games are on the road. We've seen 56% of the games this year in the NHL playoffs, the road team has actually won.
Sports Rage Late Night, only on SportsGrid.
All right, welcome back in-game live, prime time here on the grid. Scott Wetzel, Dave Sharapan, watching a little NBA as we are underway. Game 3, in essence, really a do-or-die situation for the Mavericks, knowing that no team has rallied from a 3-0 NBA deficit. Hockey, yes, a couple of times, but NBA, no. So it all, for intents and purposes, this is it. The season on the line for the Mavs tonight, trailing at 2-0. Quick little start, decent little start, 25-13. I got, and actually for our props as well, Dave, everything's, knock on wood, looking pretty good. Luka has 9, so does Kyrie, but still, the Luka number's okay.
Yep.
Even Kyrie has 9, as I mentioned. You got Drew Holiday with 2. Al Horford has 5. We got over 18.5 points, rebounds, assists for Horford. So that's a pretty good number. So, overall, not a bad little start to the game. Good pace. Decent amount of scoring here. 39 points right now, 25-14. So, this game, it looks like it's going to be entertaining. Luka's now out of the game. I just don't want Dallas to jump, too far ahead. We got to keep this somewhat competitive here.
It's fine. Relax. It'll be fine. Luka's in-game number went up to 38.5, though. So that's
Wow.
good. The next closest number in-game points scorer, because we're going to keep an eye on this. Like, this is what we do that might be a little bit different than a lot of shows and stuff like that. We're watching the game along with you, but, have some interest in it with prop bets and different things like that. So the Black Cloud play of the night is Luka to be the leading scorer of the entire game, both teams. So we'll watch the other points props, because knowing that, if I was in a risk room, I'd be like, all right, this guy's got him over. He might be looking at, who's going to get close. Tatum's next at 29.5. There's no one else. Kyrie's actually 28.5. So that's actually the next one in line. There's your guy. So
That's my guy.
we got to keep Luka out there. Because if Luka gets hurt or rest or whatever, the beneficiary of that is going to be your guy, Kyrie. But
right.
The Celtics numbers are coming down. Jaylen Brown's 22.5. And, Drew Holiday's only 12.5. Derek White's 13.5. There's no other numbers. So it's a 3-horse race. So that's good. Well, you got a good price. His total's 38.5. And it's overs minus 120. If he gets that, he's going to be the leading scorer. And you got a good price, right. Minus 140. So good deal. We're off to a good start, is right.
The only thing with that is he really can't hedge, because you're not getting plus money. So you could try and middle it, I suppose. Like if his over-under was 43, we'll just say, and Kyrie's was 35, you could bet Kyrie over, thinking that if he gets over his number, he might not get over Luka's, but he'll get over his. Or, if he does go over Luka, at least you got the Kyrie bet. But I don't like hedging where you're risking your profit. If it was plus 150 on one side, plus 150 on the other side, okay. But right. I could lose the Kyrie bet because he stopped scoring. I win the Luka bet, and, I threw away my profits. So
correct.
Really can't hedge this bet.
This is not right. Not really. Depending on if the numbers get closer together, right?
Right.
If we get a little bit later and we know Tatum's number and say Luka's number are the same, then you can just bet the over with Tatum, win the Luka bet, be the leading scorer. If he does outscore him, then But the numbers are different. Right. You can't really hedge. Don't let the hedging even option come into your mind right now. Let's think positive. Let's stay together on this. It's 25-19. It's the Celtics are coming back. This would be kind of nice to be close to tied by the end of the first quarter.
Yeah.
Right.
Celtics kind of survived the initial purge, right?
Yes.
It's down to 6. Okay, you knew Dallas was going to come out flying, right? Okay, guys, well, it was up to 13 at one point, so they said, okay, let's get this down to a manageable number, and they got it at 6 now with 3.5 minutes left. Over under 217.5. Dallas money line minus 215.
I have to mention, because we only have a couple seconds, but the baseball, the Red Sox are playing the Phillies. This could be a Boston night. The Red Sox are up 6-4. in the top of the sixth.
Really?
They had, a little big resurgence right
down.
there. They were down big, 4-0.
Yeah.
We're back.
Wow.
Yeah.
Very nice. That would be a nice doubleheader sweep. Red Sox over the best team in baseball, perhaps, and then the Celtics. That would be a nice daily double. All right, hour number 2 coming up next.
Your gut says Miami is going to win, and you should take the over. Your gut also said your NFT selfies would only go up in value. They didn't. But your head is on SportsGrid and knows the QB is in concussion protocol. The backup has a 45 QBR against the zone coverage. The New York D has the most sacks in the league. So yeah, trust your head. It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.
There is going to be an energy to game time decisions that you will feel night in and night out. We're going to go through every single thing, and I've got a great team behind me that's going to help me get the job done. I want this to be the place that people come to. We are going to hit every single one of those markets that you need to know about. There is not going to be a better place, I promise you, than Game Time Decisions. We will have everything at our disposal, and we will use that to our advantage. I'm Kevin Walsh. Tune into Game Time Decisions from 6 to 8 p.m. Eastern on SportsGrid.
.81 goals against average, .920 save percentage. He's also 6-2 in his last 8 road starts as well. The Oilers are a great road team. I actually think it's an advantage for them that they don't have home ice. That potentially 4 of the games are on the road. We've seen 56% of the games this year in the NHL playoffs, the road team has actually won.
Sports Rage Late Night, only on SportsGrid.
Welcome into InGame Live PrimeTime here on the grid. Scott Wetzel, Dave Sharapan, watching some NBA Finals. Hopefully making a couple of shekels along the way, taking you right up until the end of the game. A little post-game as well. We got a few baseball games. We'll definitely keep an eye on that, especially with the Red Sox rallying 4-0 down over Philadelphia and leading that game. Of course, we got the Stankies leading big over Kansas City. Thanks for nothing, Royals, in this series. But the main story there, Dave, is, Kansas City. Yeah. Boy, they just own the Royals. 21-6 are the Yankees over the Kansas City Royals. But we had a technical foul in the game. I don't know, did you see who it was? Somebody against Dallas. Was it Luka? I'm not sure who it was against.
I wasn't looking
Matt,
at
see if
the
you can
technical.
find
The
that
only
out.
thing I was looking at was there was an 11-0 run by the Celtics. Got this thing all the way back to within a bucket. Luka just did a dribble back, push off, no foul, and got a basket. So it's 27-23. You got your close game. We got it all here in the first quarter. There's still a minute and a half left in the first quarter. This thing could be tied after being down 10, and you're looking live at that nice plus money bet. Everything's fine. Nothing to see here. Just relax, chill out. We got a couple more bets to discuss. We got guests coming up next segment. We got Mark Zinno popping in. It's a fun night. We got a lot of people that'll join us and give us their thoughts on what they're seeing. That's the beauty of this one. So you and I could watch this game together right here on SportsGrid, along with all these people watching all over the place. You see something that I don't see. I might see something you don't see. And did you just see that Dallas dunk?
I did. Yeah.
Did you see that dunk?
Wow.
That was pretty impressive. Look, Dallas has answered the bell, right? Dallas has done what they needed to do in the first quarter. They had a big lead. They let the Celtics kind of play their way back into it. But to you, from what you've seen so far, does Dallas look different than they did in Boston?
Oh, yeah. I mean, they're hitting shots. They got 29 points. I mean, it's a great pace. The over-under is 218.5. I like the over, even at that number. I know it closed around 213, 214, but the pace, it goes back to what I was saying. It is a pretty good system. It's just you go opposite of what happens in the first two games if the same thing happened. With both games going under and the same team winning. It's got to be a complete same thing. It's just more free-flowing. Dallas looks good. And honestly, to be fair, and I'm the first to criticize these guys, but both, Kyrie and Jason Tatum are playing well, right? And both were two guys that I pointed out, and a lot of people did, obviously, that they needed to come up big, right? Especially Kyrie, because he was completely invisible in the two losses. At least the Celtics won with Tatum. And both were approaching double digits. Both have like 9, 10, 11 points so in the first quarter. So they both showed up. Let's see who can withstand this already and keep this thing going. But Luka's on pace for, I don't know. They have some props. You want to go 50 points for Luka tonight? He's got, 15 already? 13, 15?
It's off to a good start. By the way, just so viewers know, it was defensive 3 seconds on Dallas. A technical foul was on Lively. So just bring Lively. That to light. That's what it was. Yeah.
Okay, cool.
I mean, you could do that. You could, let's see, with the current number for player points. Luka's sitting at 30. It's bouncing between 38.5 and 39.5. But Jason Tatum is now up to 34.5. Scott. Wow. So, yeah, you have competition for your leading scorer. It's funny because the Kyrie number won't move despite the fact that he may be close in the points because it's Luka. It won't move that much higher. So he's sitting at 27.5. Everyone else is below 20. Well, Jaylen Brown's 20.5. So there you go. It was like the Belmont on Saturday where 3 horses kind of got out to a quicker lead and everybody was chasing. It's one of these 3. So you just got to beat the 2. That's all you have to do. You'll be fine.
First quarter is going to end, barring something crazy here, which it didn't happen. 31-30.
Oh, my.
Dallas had the ball up 30-28, and they turned it over, leading to a Celtic dunk. I bring this up because the first quarter line was 2.5 or so. 1.5, 2.5. Oh,
and
geez.
Wow. Celtics cover the first quarter.
Celtics cover the first quarter. Oh,
so after what we just seen, take a breath, right? I like to say that all the time. I do tell Jeff that when he texts me. I tell people that all the time. Take a breath. Just breathe. Just breathe. Jaylen Brown said it post-game after game 1. We got 1 point lead for Dallas at home. Game 3 must win. If you're holding a ticket on either Dallas or Boston right now, Wetzel, which do you feel better about for the game after what we just saw? It's an easy answer.
I got to tell you, I think I'm going to flip. I think I'm okay with Boston. I knew they were going to come out. Dallas, I expected to be down 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So I put that bet in. And to know that they're only down 1, surviving the Purd, and Kyrie is playing well, and Luka's playing well. See, this goes back to, Dave, what we said before the series began. Boston beat Dallas twice handily with Kyrie and Luka both playing, and with both playing well. Luka had a triple-double in both games. Kyrie played well in both games. They took Dallas's best shot in the regular season and still won. One game was by 18 points, and the other one was by 9. So it's and it's almost the same thing here. You're getting the best out of Dallas, and you're still only up 1. So I'm okay with Boston. In fact, I could hedge that plus 550 bet right now. Because that number is down to a pretty reasonable number, money line, but I'm not going to.
What about a win margin bet? Like if you look at these win margin bets, They're a lot of fun. So game 3 win margin bets. Dallas 1-10 was plus 175. Boston 1-10, which you actually got kind of plus 550 with your bet now being live after them being down 10.
Yeah.
Dallas with an 11 points or more is plus 270. Celtics with an 11 points or more victory, 5-1. If you can get that, you'll cash that other ticket, right? That's where you're at with that being down 10. So, I don't know.
10 points.
Would you want more than 10-point win either side right now, despite those good prices? I don't think I do. I don't think there's going to be a more than a 10-point win, right?
I don't think so. Unless Dallas runs out of gas and like, all of a sudden it flips and a 3-point deficit, you miss a few shots, Celtics play well, and then all of a sudden they're down, 10, 11, 12. But I don't think so. I think Dallas is in this for the long haul.
Yeah, I think so.
I'd be a little surprised
we're getting a close
if they
game.
won by double digits.
We're getting a close game. I don't want either one of those 11 plus.
And it's not like college, too. Right? College, you're down 7, 8, 9. You're fouling all the time. You're down 10. You're fouling. NBA, they don't do that. They play it out for the most part. So you don't get those, extra 5, 6, 7-point swings. Which
first half spread was Mavs minus 1.5, minus 128 or so on FanDuel. Celtics plus 1.5, plus 104. Boston ended the first quarter on an 18-6 run. I don't know who I would rather have right now in the first half. I don't know. I'm feeling pretty confident with wearing all this green. I'm just telling you right now. I liked what I saw out of Boston.
That is amazing. I hate to pee on someone's parade, but man, if you had Dallas laying 1.5 points, they were up. What were they up? Like 13, with 3-4 minutes left. I mean, right? You're kicking yourself. Why didn't I bet it more?
I hope Zeno didn't have it.
I hope Zeno. Oh my goodness, if he did, he may have.
Your gut says Miami is going to win, and you should take the over. Your gut also said your NFT selfies would only go up in value. They didn't. But your head is on SportsGrid and knows the QB is in concussion protocol. The backup has a 45 QBR against the zone coverage. The New York D has the most sacks in the league. So yeah, trust your head. It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.
There is going to be an energy to game time decisions that you will feel night in and night out. We're going to go through every single thing, and I've got a great team behind me that's going to help me get the job done. I want this to be the place that people come to. We are going to hit every single one of those markets that you need to know about. There is not going to be a better place, I promise you, than Game Time Decisions. We will have everything at our disposal, and we will use that to our advantage. I'm Kevin Walsh. Tune into Game Time Decisions from 6 to 8 p.m. Eastern on SportsGrid.
.81 goals against average, .920 save percentage. He's also 6-2 in his last 8 road starts as well. The Oilers are a great road team. I actually think it's an advantage for them that they don't have home ice. That potentially 4 of the games are on the road. We've seen 56% of the games this year in the NHL playoffs, the road team has actually won.
Sports Rage Late Night, only on SportsGrid.
In-game live prime time on a NBA Finals Game 3 Wednesday. Scott Wetzel, Dave Sharapan, joined by our good buddy. You see him all the time. Hear him all the time here on SportsGrid Radio, SportsGrid TV, Mark Zitto. What's going on, Mark? How are you tonight, bud?
Gentlemen, always great to be with you. Dave, you're decked out in that Celtics green, which means they're obviously winning Game 3 tonight.
Yeah, it's one of those ones. Watching the first quarter, we were just talking about it. Please tell me you didn't have any first quarter bets, because Dallas looked like they had this thing completely under control, and then up 45 seconds, and they don't cover. So please tell me, one, before we get to maybe some baseball things that you do have. You did not have first quarter, did you?
No, I didn't. And this is a theme that has happened to the Dallas Mavericks several times in this series. They're up 25-12 with 4:48 left in the first quarter. They didn't score another bucket until there was 1:46 left. They went 3 minutes without scoring a single point. Last game in Game 2, guys, you know they went from the droughts of the first, second, and third quarter a combined 11:55 without scoring a point in the game. They basically played one less quarter than the Boston Celtics, and you wonder why they can't win. I mean, I put it out there on Twitter, X, whatever we call it, but there was 3 separate scoring droughts of at least 3.5 minutes in each quarter, first, second, and third, that all added up to 11 minutes and 55 seconds of game time where Dallas didn't score a single point.
That's an eternity in the NBA, isn't it? Like, that doesn't happen, let alone for the team in the finals. That's forever.
I mean, you're up 25-12 and have this team right where you want them with 4:48 left, enough to have a 9 or 10-point lead after the first quarter, and you just go cold. I've said it repeatedly. We keep underrating Boston's defense. We keep forgetting how good it is, and they are very good, and they're going to prove it. Look, I have the Celtics to win tonight. I have the Celtics team total over 105. I just felt like there were a couple of more outs there. I don't think it's impossible for Dallas to win this thing, but come on, guys. This Dallas team is not in the same conversation as Boston.
They only got 2 points, in the first 2.5 minutes and change here, Mark, of the second quarter as well. Right? I mean, the offense is. I don't know, how's that possible? You got Luke and Kyrie. I mean, you think somewhere along the line, Jason Kidd would call a play to make sure that one of these guys got an open jumper, but I guess that's too much in the NBA.
They scored 8 points in the last 8 minutes of game time. Like, you can't have that go on. Not in the NBA Finals, not against a team that's a top 5 defensive efficiency. Like, Dallas continues to let Boston back in the game. And simply they do because – and I shouldn't even say that. To a certain extent, we can't ignore the fact that Boston is one of the best shooting teams in the league, and they make a ton of threes. Like, the most depressing thing for the Dallas Mavericks and their fans should have been to know that the Boston Celtics had their second worst three-point shooting night of the entire season. That includes 82 regular season games in Game 2, and they still lost by 7 points. I mean,
it was one of those stats. We talked about that too. You got first half over for Mavs. You don't feel? Do you feel bad? Do you good? Where do you stand right now? I mean, they got to get going.
I felt great when they had 25 points with 4:48 left in the first quarter. They got to get to 56 here, so they have to pick it up again. You just can't have that scoring drought. Like, everything looked great for the first 8 minutes, and then it died. And part of the play with Dallas was simply this: if there was any chance that Dallas was going to win this game, it relies on them getting close to 60 in the first 24 minutes of basketball. I mean, they broke 51 in Game 2 because they got 3 cheap free throws at the end of the quarter there with a foul. But other than that, like, they haven't even been sniffing this number. And yet oddsmakers posted it at 56 going, well, guess what? There's your line of demarcation. If they're not sitting at 55, 56 after 24 minutes of basketball, they're dead, because the only game script I don't feel like that is possible for me is for Boston to be up by 8 or 9 at half and then blow the lead, and Dallas comes back and win in the second half. Like, that's not a game script I can write that makes any sense. Something would have to be incredibly out of the ordinary to happen. And this is, again, a Dallas team that is not making three-pointers. Anybody notice that they're 2 for 10? Okay, well, you know what? Even with Porzingis out, Boston can go, we'll give you that inside layup. We'll give you that inside layup because we're going to go down and make it 3, because last time I checked, 3 is still more than 2.
They're just not that good, Mark. Like, I'm more amazed that they're here. You know, I mean, it's a two-man team, right? I mean, all these other guys, P.J. Washingtons of the world, those are just mediocre players. It's like Dallas really doesn't have any business being in the NBA Finals when you think about outside of Kyrie and Luka, right?
And Dave, you and I talked about this. I took the bait. I fell for it coming into this series, thinking that what we saw from Luka against what was the number one defensive efficiency team in the league pretty much the entire year in the Minnesota Timberwolves would be enough to get them over the hump. What we all forgot in that, and we all got caught up, or at least I did, got caught up in the whole Luka, oh my God, this is his moment. He could, crown himself a champion at such a young age and this, that, yada, yada, yada. What we forgot was that, Minnesota is a very average to below average offensive team. Yep. And that's the reason why Dallas was able to overcome them with one player or 1.5 players, if you include the games that Kyrie really stepped up in, right? With that little offense, they were able to overcome it because Minnesota's not a great offense, but Boston is a great offense. And the bigger question is, if you go back to the Oklahoma City series, because Oklahoma City is every bit as good at shooting the three as Boston is, but go look at Oklahoma City's three-point shooting numbers in that series. They were some of the worst numbers they had all season. Oklahoma City couldn't buy a bucket from three. It was chuck and duck time nonstop from three, and they couldn't make them, and Dallas survived and got past them. So Dallas is here, Steve, Scott, to your point, that they got past an Oklahoma City team that couldn't drain a three, and they got past a very bad or a mediocre offensive team in Minnesota, and now they're meeting somebody who's just better than them on both ends of the floor.
Game totals down to 208.5, 207.5 in a couple plays. You got that team total over for the Celtics. We got a little bit of a lull period, not just Dallas scoring. You write this off.
The whole part of Boston getting there was Dallas pushing. Like, Dallas isn't going to pull up in the fourth quarter no matter what. They know if they lose this game, series is over. So this is their elimination game. So they should play a full 48 minutes and not pull up late.
Yeah, looks so good. Now it's down to 201.5 on FanDuel. Wow. Mark Zinno here on Sunday nights here on the Grid. Thanks, Mark.
Your gut says Miami is going to win, and you should take the over. Your gut also said your NFT selfies would only go up in value. They didn't. But your head is on SportsGrid and knows the QB is in concussion protocol. The backup has a 45 QBR against the zone coverage. The New York D has the most sacks in the league. So yeah, trust your head. It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.
There is going to be an energy to game time decisions that you will feel night in and night out. We're going to go through every single thing, and I've got a great team behind me that's going to help me get the job done. I want this to be the place that people come to. We are going to hit every single one of those markets that you need to know about. There is not going to be a better place, I promise you, than Game Time Decisions. We will have everything at our disposal, and we will use that to our advantage. I'm Kevin Walsh. Tune into Game Time Decisions from 6 to 8 p.m. Eastern on SportsGrid.
.81 goals against average, .920 save percentage. He's also 6-2 in his last 8 road starts as well. The Oilers are a great road team. I actually think it's an advantage for them that they don't have home ice. That potentially 4 of the games are on the road. We've seen 56% of the games this year in the NHL playoffs, the road team has actually won.
Sports Rage Late Night, only on SportsGrid.
Welcome back in Game Live, prime time here on the Grid. Thanks again for Mark Zitto joining us here. Always a character, that is for sure, Mark. Mm-hmm. He's kind of like the antithesis of Cam, where Cam bets on everything. Mark kind of keeps it, a little more low key, 2 or 3, 4 bets, but just as passionate though, just as passionate.
Oh,
always fun to talk to.
Zeno lets it fly as far as his emotion with the bets. It's great, but he's a lot more directed with the plays, and then they're not correlated, but like he's not feeling too excited about this total for sure. I mean, you said it during a break. What did they combine for in 8 minutes or something? I mean, it's
7
40
points.
to 38. 7 points?
They had 7 points in the first 5 minutes and change of the second quarter. It's
good defense
61
or bad
points.
I
don't know. How does that happen? It's got to be the defense steps up. Right? It was 31-30 after
that
one.
Desk. I know you're excited. Stop hitting that desk. I heard you get mad. Stop hitting that desk right now, please.
They keep on missing shots.
Oh,
miss.
Is this bad?
Somebody hit a shot.
Is it bad offense or good defense? Like, at times, I want to think it's good defense, but I'm watching the same game as you. It's bad offense. They're not getting shots. It's just missing shots.
I mean, it's just they're open. It's amazing. Now we got a couple threes.
There's a couple threes. Yeah.
It's nothing but threes, though. I will say, Sam Hauser with his 9 points. Our guy Jeff Dawson gave over, I think 8.5. It was points, rebounds, assists.
Right,
7.5. Wow. Okay. I looked that up when Jeff was talking about that on FanDuel. They didn't offer it. I was going to put it into.
There you go.
Know what?
9 points. It's already done. First half. It's already done.
Yeah.
Tip to JD.
Now that's a bet to have.
That's good stuff right there. That's a nice one. So
that's a bet.
Yeah, he can relax. 18 for Tatum, 6 for Jaylen Brown, 5 for Holiday, 4 for Holiday, 5 for Horford. Wow. All right. So, Zeno was lamenting that the Mavericks are a one-man show. Tonight, so far, the Celtics are a one-man show. Are they not? Other than, Hauser's the secondary scorer. That can't continue, can it? Come on.
No, that definitely can't. But I must say, it's rare when both Brown and Tatum have really good games. It is
Correct.
Really. It's the strangest thing. There's plenty of superstars when there's two guys who can have 25 points or more. I bet you could count on one hand. Maybe not one, but I bet you could count on two hands how many times both Tatum and Brown have scored at least 25 points in a game this year. It just always seems like when one's on, the other one's off, or maybe one defers.
Right.
Yeah.
That's fine. Listen, when you're on here rolling, I just like to sit back and listen and watch. I'll just lean back in my chair and just go, Wetzel's going. So I don't mind you, getting hot one night and just rolling. This is what we do. So I think that's a good thing. I mean, you want to talk about rolling, though? I just peeked at the baseball scores, and, we'll have more after. But, my goodness, the Yankees are up 8-0 against the Royals.
Wow.
They're just destroying them. The Mets are actually beating somebody. They're beating the Marlins 8-4. Cubs are beating the Rays 4-3, bottom of the ninth. In-game opportunity to bet the Guardians, Wetzel. You want the Guardians? They're trailing the Cincinnati Reds 4-2, top of the eighth. Just starting that out. You could take them. That's a nice price if you're interested in that.
How about the Nationals beating the Tigers again? The Nationals are turning into like a halfway decent team. Some of these bottom feeders.
Yep.
Yeah.
The Nationals are a team you got to keep an eye on. Yeah. I think the lines with the Nationals against other teams that aren't great will be value, right? Teams that get like the Tigers, teams, when they play the Braves, they're going to be huge dogs anyway. They're just not going to win as many of those games. The Phillies, things like that. But this is a fun week for baseball fans. It's interleague week. There's only 2 games within the league in each league, at least so far, and the rest are interleague. Do you like interleague?
No. No, you don't get that. I'm a big trend guy, so you don't get really good trends because there's just not enough interleague games. It's just, I don't think these teams get up for each other. They're silly. I don't like it. So, one of our favorite baseball whipping boys is getting set to begin. We'll talk about that when we come back.
Your gut says Miami is going to win, and you should take the over. Your gut also said your NFT selfies would only go up in value. They didn't. But your head is on SportsGrid and knows the QB is in concussion protocol. The backup has a 45 QBR against the zone coverage. The New York D has the most sacks in the league. So yeah, trust your head. It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.
There is going to be an energy to game time decisions that you will feel night in and night out. We're going to go through every single thing, and I've got a great team behind me that's going to help me get the job done. I want this to be the place that people come to. We are going to hit every single one of those markets that you need to know about. There is not going to be a better place, I promise you, than Game Time Decisions. We will have everything at our disposal, and we will use that to our advantage. I'm Kevin Walsh. Tune into Game Time Decisions from 6 to 8 p.m. Eastern on SportsGrid.
Uh, 1.81 goals against average, 9.20 save percentage. He's also 6-2 in his last 8 road starts as well. The Oilers are a great road team. I actually think it's an advantage for them that they don't have home ice. That potentially 4 of the games are on the road. We've seen 56% of the games this year in the NHL playoffs, the road team has actually won.
Sports Rage Late Night, only on SportsGrid.
All right, welcome back InGame Live, prime time here on the grid. Scott Wetzel and Dave Sharapan until about 11 or so, 11:30 Eastern time. We'll take you right through the NBA game, little post-game show as well as they approach halftime. Dave, 50-48, Dallas leading it. What was the halftime line? There's under a minute left. What was it, 1.5, 2.5, depending on where you did your shopping? Yep. Another one you're going to have to sweat out here, depending on what side you're on. So
right down to the end, there it is. 1.5 spread on Dallas, and the first quarter ended with Dallas up 1. I told you before, if you're sitting with the Celtics getting points right now, you got to be feeling pretty good. You withstood the beginning onslaught, and now you're playing them pretty close to even. So, oh, man, we're going to have it sounds like he's ready to go. You tell me when we're bringing in Peralt, because I know he's excited. I know he can't sit still. You know you can't sit still. Look at that. Matty Peralt. Hello, Peralt. How are you feeling right now, Mr. Celtic?
I'm feeling great. This is perfect. This game is going swimmingly. I'm on +8. I got a +8 on Boston in the first quarter, which is tremendous.
Oh, okay. In-game
Hauser knocked down his first 2 threes. We cashed a +124 bet on Hauser to go over 1.5 threes. This is going perfect. I got under 213, over 205. I'm sitting great. This is perfect. And Boston's in perfect position to win this game.
Is that true? Yeah, I guess so. Have you peeked at the Red Sox score? Have you seen the Red Sox, what they Did you happen to? I know it's all Celtics all the time.
Hold on. On Tom Brady, on Tom Brady induction night, you think I'm watching the Boston Red Sox when I am in my glory watching Game 3 of the NBA Finals and literally Patriots pornography for 3 hours? You think I'm watching baseball tonight? Come on. I have no idea what happened. They're up 8-4, I think, right?
They're up 8-5. Yeah, they were down 4-0. Yeah.
Okay.
So it's the Boston kind of night. How was the Tom Brady thing? Did you watch it? Was it as good as it was that good?
So good. So good. I mean, everything. I mean, it was kind of like a quasi, like in between the roast and like an honoring of Brady, but like just seeing everyone together. The best moment, Randy Moss started crying. Everyone gave him a standing ovation. It's been tough for Randy because he's around all these Patriots. He's the only Patriot without a ring. Like all the great Patriots, he doesn't have a ring. Yeah. He didn't win a championship with the Patriots. He set records like crazy in 2007, but they never won a championship. They lost 2 Super Bowls. So he's, he's getting honored, his flowers, as the kids would say. Through all of this, this is a chance for the fans to say, Randy, we love you. I know you didn't win a championship, but like you're still one of the all-time great Patriots, and we love that you're coming around and being a part of everything happening with Brady. So it was awesome. It was super cool. Jay-Z performed. They brought out Jay-Z, for goodness sakes.
Wow.
Oh, brother. Halftime score.
Give it to him.
Halftime score. Dallas laying 1.5 has the lead. You won your bet, right? Cash the ticket. Cha-ching, cha-ching, right? Dallas 51, Boston 50. You lose by the hook after the first quarter. You lose by the hook after the second quarter. Welcome to gambling, Matt. Oh,
why are you nodding your head? Why are you nodding your head?
Because it's awesome, because everyone's doing the Buffalo thing again. They're all going off the cliff. It's phenomenal. It's the U2-1 video. They're all just running off the cliff. All of them. It's tremendous. First quarter, loss. Second quarter, loss. Here comes the game, loss. It's all lining up perfectly.
And the first quarter, Matt and David and I were talking, Dallas had a 5-point lead and the ball with 45 seconds left and couldn't cover 1.5. And Luka is just at the free throw line, and he misses 1 of 2 free throws, and they only lead by 1, not 2. I mean, it's just a killer. Just a killer.
Look,
right?
It's all Maverick
was
fan.
On Dallas first half.
Of course they were. They're on the first quarter, on first half. They're on the game. Yeah. I mean, everyone. It's just it's a funny night. If I'm a sports book today, I'm like, this is awesome. I'm just clearing off tables. This is great. We're just taking it down. We're having a record night, boys. This is tremendous. Keep this going. Because you know what happens in the fourth quarter? Luka gets tired. Luka has been a non-factor in the fourth quarter in both games so far, and it's him and Kyrie, and that's it. It's him and Kyrie, and there's really nothing else to show for it with Dallas. So, yes, Kyrie's having a very good game. Boston, I expect to take care of that a little bit with some defensive switches and whatnot. But the difference is Tatum is having a huge game for Boston to offset the Kyrie Irving game. So I'm nervous. If I'm in that Dallas locker room, I'm going, my gosh, we just hit them with all we've got. We're up 1. Uh-oh.
Yep. Exactly. And what about the total? So the game closed around the in-game total right now is 204.5. And there was a lot of talk about the over. We talked it out on Bostonian versus the book earlier. You made a great case for the under. Is the bottom there yet, P-Roll? Are we where you could go at over 203.5, 202.5? I think this thing actually, I don't think it's close myself. I think we get to 200.5. What about you?
Well, I already took it. I took 205. I bet over that. So I'm on under 213. I'm on over 205. So I'm trying to middle the two. So I'm with you on that. I look, this is just Dallas's MO. When they're at home, they are an under team. They're 29-20 to the under this year. So far in the playoffs, they're 5-1 to the under at home. Boston's 5-1 to the under on the road. The reason why Boston's so good to the under on the road is they blow out their opponents. They've had big lopsided victories. So that second half, if Kyrie goes cold in the second half or Boston makes adjustments and Luka slows down like he has in game 1 and game 2, who is scoring for Dallas? So I would be a little careful. If I wasn't already on the under like I am, that 204, 203 number seems pretty good. I think that's where we're going to wind up, somewhere in that 200 to 205 range. And so 204.5, you might lose an under bet, but I still would lean towards the under. I still think even at 204.5, it's not impossible for this game to go under.
61 points first quarter, only 40 the second. So I think you're right, man. I think it's gonna be right around a 50-point third quarter or so, and you're gonna need about 50 points, in the fourth quarter. So I think Dallas is gonna play a little better second half, right? I mean, ultimately, are this gonna be a 3-0 series in your eyes? Then grab Boston still.
I mean, I have +8, so I'm good. I'm happy with where I'm with Boston in the game, but I think you have to be very concerned because the fourth quarter has not been great. They need a third option. Like, this is the problem for this Mavericks team. Everyone was saying Porzingis out, Porzingis out. Boston played 14 games without Porzingis in the playoffs and went 12-2 without him. Like, this team is used to this rotation. And I told Dave earlier today, this is where Hauser and Pritchard, their minutes got cut by Porzingis. Nobody else. Al Horford's going to play 30 minutes. You've got, obviously, the Jalen-Jason tandem. They're going to play a ton. And you got Drew Holiday, who's playing incredible defense. So I didn't understand the line move. I didn't understand the overreaction. And everyone kept on saying the same dumb stat, that they played even in the minutes that Porzingis wasn't on the court. It's the dumbest thing in the world. They play differently when he's not on the court. Like, they were up by 20 points when he was on the court. Like, yes, he's a major weapon and he's a gigantic piece to them dominating Dallas, but they can still beat Dallas without Porzingis on the court. We'll see what the second half goes at, but I think this is a 1 or 2 possession game either side for Boston or Dallas.
You're staying for the next segment. You know that,
Sure.
right? We got to sit.
Sure.
Yeah, because we got to maybe find a bet or two. I mean, I'm looking at Horford. He's got 8 points. Is he going over his points prop? We'll talk about that in the next segment.
What's Holiday's live point prop right now?
He's only got 4.
Right. I'm on over
worried
13.5.
that, right?
Well,
I
but
know.
what's the live number though?
Hold on.
10.5.
10.5. I
We'll look
like
at some
that.
of the others. Yeah,
I like
some of these
10.5.
guys that didn't. Yeah, we'll look at some of the other guys when we come back in Game Live Prime Time.
Your gut says Miami is going to win, and you should take the over. Your gut also said your NFT selfies would only go up in value. They didn't. But your head is on SportsGrid and knows the QB is in concussion protocol. The backup has a 45 QBR against the zone coverage. The New York D has the most sacks in the league. So yeah, trust your head. It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.
There is going to be an energy to game time decisions that you will feel night in and night out. We're going to go through every single thing, and I've got a great team behind me that's going to help me get the job done. I want this to be the place that people come to. We are going to hit every single one of those markets that you need to know about. There is not going to be a better place, I promise you, than Game Time Decisions. We will have everything at our disposal, and we will use that to our advantage. I'm Kevin Walsh. Tune into Game Time Decisions from 6 to 8 p.m. Eastern on SportsGrid.
.81 goals against average, .920 save percentage. He's also 6-2 in his last 8 road starts as well. The Oilers are a great road team. I actually think it's an advantage for them that they don't have home ice, that potentially 4 of the games are on the road. We've seen 56% of the games this year in the NHL playoffs, the road team has actually won.
Sports Rage Late Night, only on SportsGrid.
right, welcome back in-game live, prime time here on the grid. Scott Wetzel, Dave Sharapan, joined by Matt Peralta. You see him and hear him all the time throughout the week here on the grid. Looking at the NBA Game 3 at the half. Dallas does lead. Good news for Maverick fans, 51-50, Matt. But the bad news is, as we were discussing, 37 of their 51 points have come from two guys, obviously Luka and Kyrie. They got 5 points. Check that, 6, 7. They got 7 points out of their other 3 starting players. I mean, in all the years watching the NBA and sports, that tends to be like, that doesn't work for two halves. It just doesn't. I think the Celtics are in a pretty good betting position right now, going into halftime down only 1, knowing that Kyrie and Luka, listen, are they capable of going off, both guys? I suppose. But generally, right, guys aren't capable of doing that for 2 straight halves.
Yeah, and Kyrie is going to need to do it again. I mean, this is the best half of basketball so far for Kyrie Irving here in the finals. So does he do it again? Or does Boston make adjustments to try to limit Kyrie's scoring and make it more difficult for him and say, Luka, you can do what you want to do here, but we're letting nobody else score. No one else is going to help. And it's 1.5 or 2 on 5 for Boston. Tatum's got 20. Brown hasn't done very much. Holiday hasn't done very much. Hauser's hit 3 threes already, which has been a huge lift off the bench for Boston. So now the question is going to be is if Tatum goes for 20 in the second half and he goes for a 40-point game and Boston wins, Dave said it in the break, the MVP conversation's over. Jason Tatum will be your MVP. It's done. Over. No more conversation. Tatum's your MVP.
We could take them all off the board. We don't even need to keep that market open. Wetzel did a black cloud play of the night that looked really good, and it has a possibility of winning, but we're talking about how good Tatum's doing. There it is right there. Luka Doncic, high scorer of the game. Just everyone, not just Dallas high scorer. I just hit refresh. The number of points, he is now second choice behind Jason Tatum. Jason Tatum's points per up 35.5. Luka's is 33.5. Kyrie's got 20. He's also 33.5. P-Roll, the black cloud play of the night, really doesn't lose that often. But, this would be a hell of a story if it's Tatum, right, for the Celtics, let alone if it's Wetzel's arch nemesis, Kyrie Irving.
Yeah, I mean, it could be Kyrie. I mean, it's possible. I mean, again, Luka had that incredible game in game 2 where he scored 20 points, 25, 23 points 20 points in the first half and scored 12 in the second. So he hasn't done great. So I would be a little concerned about the Luka thing right now because he didn't go nuclear like we thought he was going to in the first half. Has he hit 2 threes? How many threes has he hit? He's hit 1. He's 1 for 6 from 3. So you need Luka to start getting hot from behind the arc. That's his prop at 3.5 to go over. That was minus 150 at certain books to go over 3.5. It's hit the first 2 games of the series. So that was, he may shoot a bunch of threes. He hits threes. You could be on to something that could happen. But again, I think Boston wants Luka to be the leading scorer, shut down Kyrie and everybody else, and make it a 1-on-5 situation where Boston's team basketball will win out.
How about Brown? We talked about him in the break. He's got the 6 points. They're giving it 17.5. Is he going to rebound second half?
I like that. Yeah. I mean, I think he'll be more active around the rim. I think he'll try to drive the basketball more. Jump shots haven't been falling for him. 3-point shots haven't been falling for him. So try to get to the foul line, which is what Tatum really has done well here. Also hitting 3 threes. I like Holiday too. I mean, I bet over 13.5 before the game, but I believe that it's 10.5 or 11.5 now for Holiday. I think he has a big second half for Boston scoring the basketball because he has some good matchup mismatches with the second unit for Dallas. So I think Holiday could be a guy to look for as well to go off in the second half.
Believe it or not, before this game, the finals MVP odds were this. Jason Tatum was plus 140. Jaylen Brown was plus 155. And then there's Luka. You throw him in there. And Drew Holiday was 6-1. Now, we just saw the first half. What? I'm sitting here going, what in the world would I make the minus on Jason Tatum now to win the MVP? It's a wrap, right? It's like Vince Carter when he did that, it's over, it's over.
Well, they could lose tonight. They lose tonight.
Correct.
It's not, though, right?
That's the only way.
That's
right. That's the
correct.
only way.
Right.
Jason Tatum in 2 postseasons, game 3s this year, he's averaging 30 and a third, 11 rebounds, and 6.5 assists in game 3s in the playoffs. In the 3 game 3s so far.
Wow.
So this is what Tatum does on the road. This is who he is. He plays better away from Boston. He already has 20. You would expect him to score, 15 in the second half? Get to the foul line a lot. I mean, this is, for whatever reason, Tatum plays better on the road, in particular in the playoffs. It's why Boston is 6-0 on the road, because they get the Jason Tatum game. And as right now, this is the Jason Tatum game in the playoffs for the Celtics.
You know, Jeff Dawson was on before, and he threw out a little caveat there that we didn't have a whole lot of time, Matt, to delve into too much. But he was suggesting that Jaylen Brown's got an out in his contract and that he's tired of being the alpha dog and wants to leave, or he's tired of being second fiddle and wants to leave. You're scratching your head. So not buying that.
Now, remember, he's back there, P-Roll. He's listening to the nonsense.
It's nonsense. It's such nonsense that Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum don't want to win together. They want to win together to prove this, that they can. He's a max deal. He's a max contract player. What out are we talking about? Brown's going nowhere. Tatum's going nowhere. Like this idea we're trying to draw up some type or drill up some controversy because Boston's been boring. And the team and the finals have been boring and the ratings are bad. So we're looking for anything to try to poke holes in. And these guys are like, we're a team. Can you just accept this? Like in New England, you pick the one place in New England, do your job, be part of a team, buy in. They got a young head coach they want to play for. They want to go win multiple championships for. It's not going anywhere. I'll be stunned if Jaylen Brown goes anywhere. There's no animosity. There's none of that going on. Look at the way the guys are playing. They love playing with each other.
Well, you would think so. You would think so. Matt Perrault, you check him on InGame Live with Dave Sharapan every Friday night right here on the grid on weekends as well. Great job, Matt. Appreciate it. Go root on the Celtics second half.
Go Celtics.
Your gut says Miami is going to win, and you should take the over. Your gut also said your NFT selfies would only go up in value. They didn't. But your head is on SportsGrid and knows the QB is in concussion protocol. The backup has a 45 QBR against the zone coverage. The New York D has the most sacks in the league. So yeah, trust your head. It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.
There is going to be an energy to game time decisions that you will feel night in and night out. We're going to go through every single thing, and I've got a great team behind me that's going to help me get the job done. I want this to be the place that people come to. We are going to hit every single one of those markets that you need to know about. There is not going to be a better place, I promise you, than Game Time Decisions. We will have everything at our disposal, and we will use that to our advantage. I'm Kevin Walsh. Tune into Game Time Decisions from 6 to 8 p.m. Eastern on SportsGrid.
.81 goals against average, .920 save percentage. He's also 6-2 in his last 8 road starts as well. The Oilers are a great road team. I actually think it's an advantage for them that they don't have home ice. That potentially 4 of the games are on the road. We've seen 56% of the games this year in the NHL playoffs, the road team has actually won.
Sports Rage Late Night, only on SportsGrid.
right, welcome back in-game live, prime time here on the grid. Scott Wetzel, Dave Sharapan, watching a little NBA, little baseball. They have started the second half, just underway, about a minute or two in. Still a 1-point game. In fact, it's now tied 56 all on my TV set. So put that aside for just a second. I'll peek, Dave, at some of the baseball scores, some of the finals that have rolled in over the last 10, 15 minutes or so. See, the Reds did beat the Guardians 4-2. Cubbies knocked off the Devil Dogs 4-3. Two scores of note. Orioles beat the Braves again as Atlanta continues to slide. And the Nationals remain, believe it or not, on fire. Words I never thought I would use in the same sentence. Nationals on fire. But they beat the Tigers 7-5 second straight day as they inched their way towards the 500 mark. Listen, right. 30-plus wins already. Most people didn't think they'd get that the entire year. I'm not sure what I'm more surprised with. I guess the Braves. What is going on with the Atlanta Braves? Wow.
You lose your best player. There's a lot of issues, and then Strider's out, so the pitching is trying to fill in the gaps and things like that. 31-35 for the Nationals. Good for third in the NL East. That's really surprising. But the Marlins are down, and I have no idea what the Mets are doing. They're winning tonight, but the Mets are a complete dumpster fire mess, all that other stuff. So the fact that the Braves aren't able to really take advantage of that and get a little closer to the Phillies. The Phillies are second best team in the National League, maybe the third best team in baseball if you start to really look at the numbers. The Orioles are not going anywhere. They're not going anywhere, Scott. They're going to be there all season. They're going to be there. They may win a division. The fact that they could end up in a wild card and the Yankees win a division and those two have to play in the first round, that would kind of be a bummer. But it could happen. At plus 280 to win a division, good bet, maybe, or just indifferent. I mean, I know you're a big fan of the Stankies and everything.
Yeah. It'll be curious to see how much emphasis they put into winning the division. You would think a lot, but you never know. Some of these guys, final week of the season might just, pull the cord on things with starters and give them extra rest and miss a turn here or there. But it's amazing. They just don't get the respect. National League, it's really fascinating because as mediocre as the National League is, Dave, you realize there are 7 teams that are within 1 game of each other for the final wild card spot. Now, we got a long ways to go, obviously, but that's how tight it is in that 7 within 1 game. I mean, and you got some dredges of the dredges. I mean, you got the Washington Nationals as part of that.
Don't say it.
I mean,
I won't say it.
I won't say it.
Don't say it. You were going to say it.
I was going to say it, but,
Don't say it.
You got
Pittsburgh behind me. Don't say it.
I won't say it. Chicago Cubs. How about that? Cincinnati Reds. The San Francisco Giants, if the playoffs were to start today, the god-awful San Francisco Giants would be in the postseason. I mean, the National League is just so bad. So bad.
You see those odds. You see those odds. The National League pennant is so top-heavy, right? Where the odds reflected it's the Dodgers and the Phillies. I'm surprised the Braves number isn't a little bit more closer to the bottom than the top there. I mean, at some point, you have to acknowledge that the Braves are not beating either one of those top 2 teams in a series as constructed at the moment. So I'd be going out looking for some Braves money if it was our book. I need to know who's going to make it. The sooner the better, so we could get those prices kind of, trimmed up a little bit, take the edge off. But right now, it's open season. Put them all up. Get them up there because I don't know who's going to be there right now. There's going to be moves made at the trade deadline. It's going to be fun. But
good question. Good question for you. You may need a little time to ponder this. If we were going to do, and we will, our S&W 3-league 3-team championship parlay, what 3 teams would you take out of Major League Baseball?
Wow. I will have to ponder that over the break. I don't know. Yeah. I mean, our S&W Corp is looking pretty good right now. We got a team up in hockey, 2-0, going to play on the road. We got the other team up 2-0, going to play on the road right now. Let's go Celtics. We get this one in. We can talk about it, whether we're going to do anything with Edmonton or not. I think Edmonton's going to win Game 3. A little tease. I think Edmonton's going to win Game 3.
Yeah, I think so too. Celtics up 5. Timeout. We'll look at the numbers when we come back. Starting to pull away.